YouTube, Dawson Ryder here with my review of the deluxe build driver and full bottle set holder. So, like they've been doing for the past few years, you can either buy the driver individually, which comes with rabbit tank, and that's all you get, and then you can also buy individually this holder here, which comes with Soujiki. It just comes, basically it'll come with, you know, one gimmick, and so you can buy those separately, or you can buy them as a set. I kind of made the mistake last year of not buying the set right away, and it took me forever to get my hands on the second one for X8, and that came with lasers gashette. So I decided not to make that mistake this year. So we'll cover the holder stuff really quick because, or at least the non-sound stuff for the holder because it's really basic. But yeah, this is basically the holder. It's just 3 slots for 3 bottles. That's all you get. Like, luckily, if you're just buying this, it'll literally hold your collection, but for right now, but that's it. So that's all the storage it offers you. It doesn't have any sounds when you activate it. They come out very easily. You don't have to press any buttons or anything. But yeah, there's the holder. And then it'll just, you know, attach on the side like this. Very easy stuff. So yeah, that's that. We'll go over the sounds for the one that it comes with in a second. And then here's the strap for it. It just kind of, you know, attaches around, and you can kind of attach it better than I have. But that's how it attaches. And you can take it off like this. And that's how you know, put it on too, but you have to be like really skinny or a child. But I'm just going to set it aside just because it kind of gets in the way, but I wanted to show it, thunk in the background, to show it on there. Okay, so let's just take a look at everything aesthetically first, and then we'll get to the sounds. So here's like the main event, the driver. This is where all the electronics will be coming from. It's like the exact opposite of X8 last year, where the belt was just a husk, and then the gashettes had, you know, electronics, whereas this houses all the electronics, and the bottles are just plastic, and it looks perfectly fine. Design-wise, I think like the concept of it is neat, like the way it works with the cranking, and you can see all the gears turning, and like the chemistry stuff, like you see in the show, and you can see the gears here and stuff like that. I do think the concept is neat, and it's fun to work with, but like just aesthetically, it's not one of my favorites design-wise, but I think look-wise, the belt does look pretty good. You know, it looks like it does in the show. You got the kind of chrome finish there, which can be very hit or miss for me, but I think it looks fine there. You got the handle there, you got silver paint down here. Like I said, there's little gears right there, which will touch up on each other when you're, that sounded weird, but you know, when you're doing stuff. You got this little design stuff there. So yeah, it looks pretty solid. You know, most of the belts, you know, do look pretty solid. It's not really like any that like larger of a belt, I guess, than a lot of them, but it feels like it's a longer one. So for like the main bottles you get Rabbit and Tank, which are the default ones. They're the Cyclone Joker of this set, and this is what they look like. And like most of the gimmicks that don't have sound in them, like Qtama or Icons, they look good. They're just not all that exciting because they don't have noise in them. But you can see like the little details of like what's supposed to be the rabbit there, which I think is really neat. You got like the little cap up here, which shifts around and stuff like that. And this is where it's going to slide in, as you saw with the holder, and it allows you to hold it there. And there is like a little, basically like piece of plastic in here that's like the primary color, whereas this is more like a clear version of that color, so you can shake it so that you can get that effect they get in the show of shaking the bottles. It honestly feels more like shaking like a paint can or something, but still, that is a nice touch that I appreciate and adds a little bit something for you to do with them. Maybe like one step beyond, I guess, the Icons, because you can click and shake. It's like a Bop It right here. Alright, and then you got Tank right here. Once it focuses on it, there we go. And like I said, I think they look nice. It's just, I wish everything would have some sort of sound. Because if I recall in the show, I've only seen the first episode, and I've only seen it once, but I think like when he clicks, it does do something. But I just feel like they're more appealing when the gimmick does something, and especially when both the belt and gimmick does something. And here's Soujiki? I'm terrible. But this is the one that comes with the holder. So this, you only get this if you guys get the set or if you get the holder on its own. Okay, but so yeah, let's go for the main event now, which is sounds, we're 4 minutes in and we haven't made a single sound other than my obnoxious voice. So turn it on and you'll get traditional activation noises. Was it already on? Cowboy side. There you go. So you can see the LED in there. It's nice and bright. It doesn't do anything at all when you don't have anything in it. Like, there's no waiting sound. Like, obviously it can do this when you crank it, but it doesn't make any sort of random... That just strikes me as odd, because usually in most belts, you'll have some sort of default or error noise when you don't put anything in there. So I think we're just going to start off by basically just doing the standard transformation of Rabbit Tank. So... So you get that jingle. Now it's time to crank it. So it's pretty neat, and I just want to point out that there's no specific or real specific length to the cranking. Like, I'm going to go ahead and do the next crank for the attack and basically just turn it once. And then we can do like a full-on crank for this one. That wasn't really full-on, that was pretty pitiful. As far as I can tell, there's no different sounds after that. Like, unless they're like really minor differences, I can't really tell. So yeah, like, basically, you can crank it for a pretty solid period of time. That sounded so weird again, I'm sorry. But before it'll start just going ahead and making the noises. Or you can just basically rotate it once and it'll just wait a second and activate it. So there's not really specific length or time or duration or whatever to doing that. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out Tank and do basically this combo. So there's the little exiting noises. No, wait. Okay, so you get that as, obviously that's not a best match. It's basically like the imperfect combos and O's. So then we'll do the attack. And I don't think I called it out before, but it is neat that the LEDs will rotate between the two colors that are representing the bottles, which is neat. So now I'll show what happens if you just put one in there, which will just be Rabbit. I don't know why I pulled it out for that. So it'll basically activate that, and then you can do that. And you can do the same thing with Tank. You can just use it on its own as well. And you get the idea, it's basically the same sounds, and then just as a last little what if, let's do this, and that'll conclude the sounds portion. But yeah, you basically get the same noises if you mix around or whatever you want to do. It's basically the same for combos that don't work and not don't work, but aren't best match, and individual ones. So yeah, that's pretty much it, unless I completely glossed over something I forgot, which I apologize, but that is the main gist of it. And honestly, it's pretty basic. It kind of reminds me of when I got the Gamer Driver last year, where I really liked the way it operated and some of the sounds, but I felt like I was left wanting because it just felt like it didn't do quite as much, which is inherently a problem with, you know, ones with gimmicks, because I'm going to need to buy more stuff to get more sounds. But I do like the way it operates. I like the way the bottles look. I think it's, like I said, a fun way of operating it with the crank and everything, a bit more interactive than some of them. I really do like the voice a lot. I think it's really cool sounding, but it does leave you a bit wanting. I mean, I feel like there are other drivers that give you a little bit more variety, a little bit more stuff to do without having to immediately get ready for your next DLC pack. But overall, I do enjoy it, but I think there is just, like I said, a bit more that I want out of it for this purchase. But it could just be me. Maybe I'm just jaded after all these years of buying drivers. And anyway, but that's about it. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's Dawson Rider, signing out.